So this is my little rant. We tried to catch the ferry from Malaysia across to Skye, but the ferry is too small and there are hundreds of automobiles trying to make that crossing in August. So we decided just to cut our losses and drive around to Skye over the Skye Bridge. Because we knew our schedule had changed, we started phoning ahead to see what hotels, bed and breakfasts, campsites, anything would be open. And in August, from Fort William all the way through to Skye, and then even all the way through to Inverness is fully booked. You will not even get a space for a small tent pitch. And if any campsite is open, you gotta know it's gonna be the worst of the worst. Anyway, we made our way to Skye, and our first warning signs came at Eileen Donald Castle. There must have been about 50 camper vans inside the car park there, and there was at least 20 tour buses and hundreds of cars. So we couldn't stop there even to look at the castle. So we made our way. With the amount of camper vans on the road, we thought that's it, we're just going to try and stop at a campsite before you get onto the Isle of Skye. We stopped in a little village just before you hit the Skye Bridge, and we managed to get a pitch on a campsite there. But oh my god, I wish we didn't. Rough is not the word, I can't even explain it. I've been in some bad showers and I've seen some campsites with bad facilities, but I think this must have rated as one of the worst. It was disgusting. The showers were disgusting. In fact, you were showering with the midges because the roofs were all vented open. Spiders, midges, you name it. I'll put a link on this video because I can't remember what the campsite was called, but I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Anyway, one of our group decided that they wanted to go across to Skye and risk it because they wanted to see the ferry pools. Now, we've read some horror stories about the ferry pools. There'll be 20-30 camper vans all going along a single track road. So we decided this is just not going to happen, and we knew that the weather was going to change, and considering how much traffic we saw go on to Skye, we thought it was just not worth it. Anyway, one of the group decided to go for it, so they left at about 6 o'clock in the morning to go to the ferry pools. Now, before you get to the ferry pools, there's a single track road, and there's very, very little passing space. And if anything happens there, and there has been quite a few bad accidents there, it's impossible for the rescue service to get through there. So they have to fly in by helicopter. Anyway, it took them almost an hour to make their way along the ferry pools. Now, in August, if you want to come to Skye, and I don't know why anybody wants to go to Skye in August, that's pure madness. Expect long delays. A one-day trip to Skye it's not going to work. You're going to need 3 days, 5 days at least if you want to see some of the things there. Because the weather had turned so badly, they didn't have much fun at the ferry pools, and they made their way to go see the fossils on the beach there. But because the tide was in, they couldn't see anything. So we made our way back to Fort William, and we tried to book into a couple of hotels there, and that was near impossible. Everywhere in Fort William is fully booked, bar one. We managed to find a hotel that would take us, and they didn't tell us that there wasn't any parking anywhere near the hotel. And because we were in camper vans, we drove around for hours and hours and couldn't find anything. So then we had the rigmarole of trying to cancel the hotel. Now, if you're going to Fort William, my biggest suggestion is don't go to Fort William. I don't know how to say this politely. If you don't want to listen, don't. It's a shithole, honestly. There's no parking. I don't know what the council is thinking of. The amount of parking they're providing for all the tourists that come there is not enough. So anyway, we then decided to make our way to Fort Rose to go to the dolphin viewing area. We managed to find a small campsite there, and that was a lot better. But yes, if you're doing the NC 500 route, just avoid Inverness. Just don't even go there. Nothing to see. So I've traveled Scotland a lot, but traveling in August has been an eye-opener for me. The first things first is the amount of tourists on the road. Every year we keep saying there's more and more, but this year there has been a staggering amount. And I think that the Scottish government and the tourist board has made a major mistake by directing everybody onto the NC 500. There's way too many people, and the government, the tourist board and the local council haven't built enough infrastructure. By that I mean toilets. The few toilets that you can find in between are disgusting. I don't understand it. Now that's a problem with the local councils who are not looking after the facilities. And I don't personally think that the roads can cope with this amount of tourism. So if you're going to come to Scotland on a holiday, I suggest March, April, if you have to May, and then again end of September, October. These are the best times to come to Scotland, when the school holidays are finished and the bulk of the tourists have gone home. The other issue we came across is the restaurants and the lack of them. And even if you did find restaurants or cafes, George is busy interrupting my video there. He's making coffee and he's not behaving himself. The other problem we found here was restaurants. Now, I have lived here in Scotland for a very, very long time, and I regard Scotland as my home. I can tell you, the restaurant service and the cafe service is terrible. The further north you go, the worse it gets. Once again, I don't understand it. The quality of the food is bad. The service you get is bad. Just shocking. The other thing is the locals. They don't seem to be very tolerant. It's maybe because the tourist numbers have gone up, but they've become very intolerant. They come swearing past you, hooting past you just because you're not going 70 miles per hour. And of course, a lot of the villages, the roads aren't meant to cope for camper vans and caravans. So this causes a major problem.